No time for the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse, mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked the mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running, toes they gon' take them. Used to lose, built to win, applied myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win, applied myself.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your host, Carl, and I'm back for another episode. Today's episode, we're going to preview 4 games today, 5 games tomorrow, and we got some bowl watch, and we got Big 12 watch. As you know, there's a 4-way tie amongst the Big 12 conference, 4-way tie between BYU, Iowa State, Arizona State, and Colorado. Colorado does play today, Friday at 12 o'clock. So we're going to touch on that as well. We're really just going to go over my scenario. There's way too many scenarios. My scenario for the Big 12, who I got making a bowl game, stuff like that. So before you do that, I'd like to ask that you like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps the channel. It helps my channel, helps the network. My channel, CTC, but we're the Refuse to Lose network. We also got the main show featuring Joe, Tomo, and Dave. Pretty sure we're going live tonight. Pretty sure we're talking Ravens, Eagles tonight. So make sure you tune into that as well. We got Dave's Doghouse, highlights and lowlights of sports. We got BWT, Baseball with Teddy, all your baseball content through there. We have Unfazed featuring Joe and AJ, Tuesdays, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. So make sure you check that out as well. We have Fantasy Football with Coach Coombs. Fantasy Football Week 13 has just started. So I know playoffs around the corner. We have RBO Road Ballers Only featuring Vaughn, NBA content. In the red corner featuring Tomo, Ricky, and Ty, boxing content. And I believe, we got Kings Talk with Joe Jordan. Kings Talk, Sacramento Kings talk there. He's breaking the news that there will be without DeMar DeRozan again. So all those shows on the network, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Helps those shows. It helps with helps our channels as well. And if you like what you're listening to, stick with us. Now, read these comments off and we can get right into it. My boy Dave says CTC. What up? Shout out my boy Dave. Dave's Doghouse. And he says, speaking of Dave's Doghouse, live at 3 o'clock. Low key, I know who should be a dog. I think he's going to be in it, but you know who my pick is. Live at 3 o'clock. Make sure y'all check out Dave's Doghouse. But we're going to jump right into it, and we're going to start with today's previews. Like I said, we got 4 of them today. And we're going to start with huge MAC championship implications. We got Miami of Ohio at Bowling Green today in less than an hour, 12 o'clock on ESPNU. Bowling Green comes into this one favored by 2.5 points. Miami of Ohio was my pick to make the MAC championship in the preseason. Oh, I got to turn. Hold on. I got to turn the page. Too far ahead. Got to go back. Boom. So, Miami of Ohio, they got to run Keon Mosey. Got to continue to run him the ball. He's going to be huge to set up those deep shots that they like to hit, which is my second key. Got to hit on them deep shots. They've been able to hit deep shots to Reggie Virgil and Javon Tracy, and it's been so essential to the Miami of Ohio offense. They got to make this a low-scoring game. Now, I do agree. I think that if they make this a low-scoring game, that defense will smother Bowling Green enough to win the ball game. Miami of Ohio has a really good defense, solid defense. So I think if they make this a low-scoring game, that helps them win the game. Pressure Connor Bazelak. And they got to defend Harold Fannin Jr., who's looked at as one of the top tight ends in the country at Bowling Green, over 1,000 yards. He's been playing extraordinarily well yet again for Bowling Green. I got to find myself. Bowling Green, got to run Terrion Stewart. He's been exceptional for those guys as well. He's a speedy guy who makes plays. Got to get the ball to Harold Fannin Jr. Defend the deep shots. Like I said, Miami of Ohio has been feasting off deep shots. You got to stop those deep shots from Miami of Ohio. Force some turnovers, force Brett Gabbert to throw some turnovers, and force third and shorts. I mean, get into third and shorts. My fault, not force them. Get into them. Get in third and shorts, open up the playbook, running with Terrion Stewart, maybe getting Fannin in the flat, something for Fannin. Just getting in third and shorts. And my winner in this one, sticking with my guns, I'm picking Miami of Ohio to win this game and to move on to the MAC championship to face either Ohio or Bowling Green. Now Ohio plays Ball State. I do think they win that game, so I think they'll play Ohio, but I do like Miami to win this one. I do think Miami still continues to feast off those deep shots. I do think Keon Mosey breaks a couple runs. I think Miami's defense is solid enough to constrict the Bowling Green offense, maybe force some turnovers by Connor Bazelak. I think Miami of Ohio gets the W today at 12 o'clock. We're going to move on to some Conference USA action. We have Liberty at Sam Houston State. Liberty comes into this game as favored by 2 points against Sam Houston State. Sam Houston State, man, pretty lackluster offense. Started off pretty hot. I would say it's cooled off a lot. Liberty, fast-paced offense. Not fast-paced, but, they get up and down the field fast. Run the ball a lot. Run heavy. Defense leaves a lot to be what's the word I'm looking for? They leave a lot to be desired. There we go. But for Liberty, they got to run their quarterback. Got to run Kaden Salter. Make him a threat. Yes, he can throw the ball, but he's also a dual threat guy. You got to run him. Run Billy Lucas and Quentin Cooley, who feasted last week against Western Kentucky. Defend Hunter Watson's legs because Sam Houston State loves to run the quarterback. Whether, like I said, whether it's Jace Bauer or Hunter Watson, they do love to run the quarterback. Force a third and longs. Got to force third down and longs because Sam Houston State passing game also leaves a lot to be desired. And they got to score. Score. If they run up the score, I don't think Sam Houston State offense keeps up with the Liberty offense. I think Sam Houston State wants to make this a low-scoring game. Now, if you're Sam Houston State, you got to stop the run. That's what a lot of Liberty is predicated upon, running the football. You got to find a passing game. Because Liberty's defense is suspect. They can't be had. You got to stop the speed option. Now, I say that because Liberty pulls that out the bag on situations, and they get at least 7, 8, 9. They break it out for big runs. Against Jacksonville State, they were able to run it. They lost the game, but when they ran that speed option, it broke for big plays. They pulled it out against Western Kentucky. It broke for a first down. So you got to get ready for that speed option. They like to pull it out for first downs. Stay ahead of schedule because, again, you got to find a passing game. And you got to find a way to force some turnovers against this Liberty team just to set yourself up for short fields. But I'm rolling with Liberty to win this game. Liberty is the more better offense, complete team. I get Liberty defense to me can be had, but they showed me something last week against Western Kentucky, stepping up, making plays, forcing 3 interceptions on Caden Velkamp, who's a pretty good quarterback, especially in Conference USA play. So I'm rolling with Liberty. I think that the run game would be too much for Sam Houston State. I'll take Liberty to advance to the Conference USA championship to face Jacksonville State. Next game we got is more so of a rivalry game. I wanted to talk about it because normally in years past, I don't think the game has been competitive. I think this year the game will be competitive in Georgia Tech at Georgia. Georgia coming into this one as 17.5-point favorites. This game is 7:30 on ABC. Now, again, Georgia Tech, Haynes King, throwing arm, throwing shoulders, still not there. They're going to rely on Aaron Philo at quarterback, but they do run Haynes King. They do like to throw that wrinkle in there. I say you sit him down. He's a junior. He'll be a senior next year. Just sit him down. But, hey, if he wants to play, let him get his last hoorah in this year. I'm not completely mad at that from Coach Key. So, Georgia Tech, they got to pressure Carson Beck. Carson Beck under pressure has not been good. Carson Beck in big games has not been good. Now, is this a big game? I say yes and no because it's a rivalry game, so yes. But no, because it has no implications. Well, then again, it does because if they lose, playoff implications. But it's not as big as the other games like Ole Miss and things like that. It's a rivalry game nonetheless, though. Force turnovers. You got to force some turnovers to Georgia Tech because Georgia's coming in as a superior team. You got to get ways to get momentum, short fields, and ways to set yourself up to score points. Run Haynes King. Stop Nate Frazier. I say Nate Frazier because Trevor Etienne is trending to not be available yet again. So it looks like Nate Frazier will take the bulk of the carries. And clock control. You got to control the clock, especially as a team that loves to run the football. Got to control the clock. Keep this Georgia offense off the field. And if you're controlling the clock, that means you're winning up front in the trenches, where Georgia loves to dominate. Now, if you're Georgia, you got to feed your tight ends. I said it last week. I'll keep saying it. You got to feed your tight ends. Surprisingly, Ben Urasek doesn't really get burned, but he does. But he's not as used as I thought he would be coming into the season. You got Lucky Lawson or Lawson Lucky. I always confuse it. And you got Oscar Delp, who I thought coming into this game would be, not this game, this year, would be the number one option. I thought Urasek would be number 2, but Oscar Dope as well. Actually, when you watch the Tennessee game, they started to use the tight ends a lot more, and they actually scored using the tight end. So I think they need to use the tight ends more than they used them. Stop the run because Georgia Tech is a run-first team. Force third and longs because Aaron Philo, I believe, is a freshman. You got that. You got them trenches up front. That allows you to put pressure on Philo and dominate the trenches. Dominate those trenches because, again, if you dominate the trenches, that means Georgia Tech isn't dominating time of possession. And my winner is going to be Georgia because of the battle up front and because Haynes King is dealing with that shoulder injury. I would be more inclined to take Georgia Tech if Haynes King was 100% because I think he's a really good dual threat quarterback. And this year, despite last year, he hasn't been turning the ball over. Last year, what done him in last year was turnovers. This year, he wasn't really turning the ball over as much. But I'm rolling with Georgia because Georgia Tech is starting the young Aaron Philo. Also, I think they dominate up front. So give me Georgia to win that game. But I do think this game is more competitive than years past. I do think that. And the last game I got tonight, I just wanted to talk about it. Nebraska at Iowa. Had to get some Big Ten love. Oh, before I do that, let me read these comments. Dave says, Bills tight end Dalton Kincaid is out for Sunday night game versus the 49ers. And wide receiver Florida State's wide receiver Deuce Spann has entered the transfer portal. Actually, I'm not mad at that. So let's talk about this last game. Nebraska at Iowa. 7:30 NBC. Iowa's coming into this game as 3.5-point favorites. Coming off a good win against Maryland. Good win for me because it knocks out Maryland out of bowl eligibility. Sorry, not sorry, Tomo. If you want to be a member of the chat to know why I'm saying that, just join. Nebraska got to protect Dylan Raiola. They got to protect Raiola. They have to because Iowa got them edge rushers. They will be humming at the quarterback. Establish the run. Whether it's Dante Dowdle, somebody has to establish the run for Nebraska to not allow those Iowa pass rushers to pin their ears back. Contain Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson is huge for this Iowa offense. He is the engine that makes that Iowa offense go, especially while starting a young guy in Jackson Stratton. Force third and longs and pressure Jackson Stratton, young guys, to making his second start. So you got to put some pressure on him. Let's see how we do with that. Now, if you're Iowa, establish Caleb Johnson. Like I said, he's the engine that makes your offense go. Pressure Dylan Raiola, because especially in the second half, Dylan Raiola does not look as good as he does in the first half. And that's just been the trend this year. Stop the run, forcing the ball in Raiola's hands. Force turnovers and clock control. With the run offense that Iowa is, you want to control the clock, put up points. This is going to be in years past, it's been a low-scoring game. But actually, Iowa's been able to put up points using the run game alone. It's crazy what an offensive coordinator change can do. But my winner is going to be Iowa. Iowa has a better run game. Iowa, in my opinion, has the better defense. Nebraska has the better quarterback in Raiola due to experience. But we don't really know what to expect from Stratton. Like I said, pretty decent game against Maryland. But I'm going to roll with Iowa. I think Iowa does what Nebraska does, but better. And Iowa being at home, and I believe they lost last year to Nebraska in this game. Did want revenge for that. So give me Iowa to win the ball game. And that's all I got for y'all for Friday. We move on to Saturday. Well, we got some big games Saturday. One, we're going to start with South Carolina boys, South Carolina Gamecocks 15th ranked South Carolina at 12th ranked Clemson, 12 o'clock ESPN. Clemson comes into this one as 2.5-point home favorites. For South Carolina, man, South Carolina has to run Lenore Sellers, the quarterback. He got to use his legs, get his legs involved, put some pressure on the defense, get Nick Harbor involved. When Nick Harbor is involved, good things happen. He scored a touchdown, busted coverage. Now, granted, that was because the eyes were in the defense from Mizzou. But he scored a touchdown. He's a speedster. He can take the defense, take the top off the defense. Got to get Nick Harbor involved. Run Rocket Sanders. I always say it in big games, Rocket Sanders is essential. He normally has good games in big games, so you got to run him. Contain Cade Klubnik's legs because I don't like Cade Klubnik as a passer. I really don't. I feel like even against Pitt, the game-winning touchdown, he ran for 50 yards on the quarterback draw to win the game. I'm not a fan of Cade Klubnik putting the ball in the air. So if you could contain his legs and force him to throw, you might get some turnovers. And contain Phil Maffa, again, a running back that makes the offense go. Phil Maffa is the engine that makes Clemson offense go. Now, if you're Clemson, last one hold on. Oh, no, never mind. Clemson, got to run Phil Maffa. Get him going. Maybe he can wear down on that South Carolina defense. Fourth quarter comes, he start breaking runs. Control the clock. You got to control the clock, especially with a team that's going to run the ball. Contain Lenore Sellers' legs. Get Antonio Williams the ball, in my opinion, the best receiver on this Clemson team, and win the turnover battle. So that means you have to force some turnovers while protecting the football yourself. But my winner and they may be dog of the week. Who knows? South Carolina. I think South Carolina's defense has been really good with the addition of Kyle Kennard from Georgia Tech, Dylan Stewart, the freshman who's played phenomenally. You have Nick Mawari at the safety, Jalen Kilgore, Donald Fortune in the secondary. This has been a really, really good defensive team. I think we're able to not stop the run, but contain the run to Clemson, force Clemson to pass the ball, force some turnovers, offense put some points on the board. I think we beat Clemson this year in the rivalry game, the Battle of the Palmetto. Give me South Carolina to win that game. Next, we have Miami University coming into this game as 10.5-point road favorites against the Syracuse Orangemen. Syracuse having a really great year. I believe they're 8-3 right now. Really good year. Cal McCord has done wonders for Syracuse this year. He catches game 3:30 on ESPN. So for Miami, defense has to get stops because you're going to get an offense that can light it up. The defense has to get stops. You got to establish the run with Damian Martinez and Mark Fletcher Jr. You got to pressure Cal McCord. If you put pressure on Cal McCord, get him off of spots, he might be prone to throw an interception, might be prone to miss a throw here and there. Get the ball to Xavier Restrepo, your best receiver in my opinion, especially in space. You got to give him the ball in space. I've been saying that all year. And you got to find a way to force some turnovers because if they make this a shootout, Syracuse can very well win this game in a shootout. Now for Syracuse, you got to keep pace with Miami's offense. Miami offense has been carrying them all year. Got to find a way to keep pace. Take shots. You got to take some deep shots. You got Jackson Meeks. You got Trevor Pena. You got a tight end who can make plays. You got to take some shots downfield, especially against this weak Miami defense. Win the turnover battle. Sack Cam Ward. It's not enough to pressure Cam Ward. Cam Ward under pressure still makes throws. You got to get him on the ground. You can't give him the ability to even throw the ball. You got to get him on the ground, and you got to establish the Quinn Island, establish him on the ground, run the ball, just to open up the passing game for guys like I said, Trevor Pena, Jackson Meek, and Oronde Gadsden. But my winner, I'm gonna take Miami. I think Miami's offense is better than Syracuse offense. Syracuse defense isn't all that great either. So I think Miami can take advantage of a Syracuse defense. I do think this game is a shootout, and I think ultimately Miami wins this game in a shootout because their offense is just better, in my opinion. We move on to some Conference USA action. We got Jack State already clinched their bid to the Conference USA Championship game, going against Western Kentucky. Now, that is half my Conference USA game in the preseason. I had Liberty, Jack State. I did have Liberty winning that game in the preseason, but I wouldn't be mad if Jack State won it. Jack State coming into this game is 1.5-point road favorites against Western Kentucky. You can catch this game 4 o'clock on ESPNU. Jack State got to run the quarterback, Tyler Huff. Tyler Huff had a pretty poor game throwing the ball last week, but a phenomenal game running the ball last week, and that's why he was on major performances because his efforts on the ground. He's been phenomenal on the ground. He's tough to stop, man. He's not an easy guy to tackle. He's going to try to run over you, even though sometimes he shouldn't. But that's just how he is. His toughness, everything like that. Tyler Huff is a great runner of the football at quarterback. Pressure Caden Velkamp. You got to put some pressure on him. Maybe throw some picks. You also got to put pressure on them because that's what Western Kentucky want to do. They want to swing. They want to sling the ball around the yard. They want to pass the ball all around the yard. You got to put pressure on them, prevent that from happening. Get off the field on third downs. Get that offense right back on the field. Got to stay ahead of schedule because that's what Jack State like to do. They like to run hurry up. They like to stay ahead of schedule. They don't like to face 2nd and 10, 2nd and 9s. They like to face 2nd and 6s, 3rd and 3s. They don't want to be off the schedule. And you got to run Trey Stewart. You can't forget about that guy in the backfield who's also having a phenomenal year for the Jack State Gamecocks. Now, for Western Kentucky, you got to stop the run because that's what Jack State love to do. They love to run the ball. You got to stop the run. You got to get the ball to Keyshawn Johnson and Dalvin Smith. I like Dalvin Smith on contested catches as well. Keyshawn Johnson is a good receiver as well, too, for Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. But I like Dalvin Smith downfield on contested catches. Establish the run, whether it's Elijah Young. I think they still have LJ Sanders. I could be remembering from last year, but got to establish the run. Force some 3 and outs and force some 3rd and longs. Again, Jack State doesn't like to be off schedule. But my winner is going to be Jacksonville State. The reason, Western Kentucky showed me that they have a tough time stopping the run. And that's what you're going to have to do against Jack State. You're going to have to stop the run. So Jack State offense is built to counteract Western Kentucky's defense. And Jack State doesn't have a bad secondary or bad defense themselves. They can rush the quarterback. They've been forcing turnovers. So I'm taking Jacksonville State to win this game and remain undefeated in Conference USA play. Finishing the season 9-3, which I did have them going 9-3, but I didn't have the conference record looking the way it is. But I'll take it. Finishing 9-3, just like I said. Texas at Texas A&M. Huge game tomorrow night for the SEC championship game. Texas, if they win, they're in. Only team with one SEC loss being to Georgia. If Texas A&M wins, however, Texas A&M is in because not Texas A&M is in. I'm sorry, they're not in because they have 3 losses, I think. But if they do, I think hold on, I got to remember this correctly. Because there was a scenario where Texas doesn't make it. Georgia has 2 SEC losses, but their SEC schedule is over. Obviously, playing Georgia Tech tonight. That's an ACC team. It has nothing to do with SEC play. But Texas, it's a way that Texas can miss. And I do think it is if Texas A&M wins, they're in. I'm just double checking real quick. Just want to make sure that is the scenario. But it's going to be a tough game. Quinn Ewers is questionable. I looked this morning, tried to find something. All I could see was something from Wednesday saying he was probable. I seen that they tailored their play call around his injury last week against Kentucky, so he wouldn't face further injury. It leads me to believe that he's playing. So they do have 3 losses, but they have 2 SEC losses. That's what it is. So if they beat Texas, they're in. Because they will have the tiebreaker over Texas. Tennessee, who does Tennessee play? I think Tennessee play. Oh, Vandy. They would need some help. They would need Vandy to beat Tennessee. I think they played each other though, didn't they? No, they didn't. So I don't know how that tiebreaker goes. But they would do it. They would need some help. They would need Vanderbilt to beat Tennessee, that's not out the realm of possibility. But let's get into this actual game. So Texas, contain Marcel Reed legs. Contain his legs. He's really good on the ground. Passing, very questionable. Very questionable thrower of the football, at least in my opinion. Get Quinn Ewers some easy rhythm throws if he plays. It looks like he's going to play. So let's get him something easy. Get him in the rhythm of the game. Let's get him forgetting about that ankle. Let's get him something easy. Run Quintravion Wisner just to get the pressure off Quinn Ewers as well. Get the defense off of Quinn Ewers, especially Nick Scorton, the star defensive end or edge rusher for the Texas A&M Aggies. Let's not allow him to pin his ears back and go get Quinn. Contain Amari Daniels. Again, Le'Veon Moss is out for the year, so they're relying on Amari Daniels, and they got to force some turnovers. Now, Texas A&M, you got to establish the run. You still got Amari Daniels. You still got I think they still got Ruben Owens available, so you still got to establish the run there. Get Jabri Barber and Noah Thomas the ball. Jabri Barber, the transfer from Troy. Nick Scorton has to wreck the game. He has to wreck this game. He has to leave his fingerprints all over this game. Got to pressure Quinn Ewers. Let's see how that ankle really is. Even if he's out there, let's see. Can he really run on that ankle? And contain the run, putting more pressure on Quinn Ewers with that ankle. But I think my winner is Texas. Why? I don't really trust Marcel Reed. I'm sorry. I don't. If the game comes down to the offense, I trust Texas offense more than I trust Texas A&M's offense. I trust Texas to get stops, especially with Marcel Reed at quarterback. I do think Marcel Reed possibly turns the ball over. So I'm taking Texas in this one just because I like the quarterback of Texas more than I like Texas A&M's quarterback. Now, Texas A&M, really good defense. It's going to be tough to score on. But, Auburn took advantage of that defense last week. So, we'll see. And the last game I got for y'all is a huge game. Big 12 implications on the line. Kansas State and Iowa State. Kansas State technically not out of the Big 12 race. Needs a lot of help. Iowa State needs to win. Iowa State needs to win to stay in it. 24th ranked K-State at 18th ranked Iowa State, 2.5 points. Home favorites. Catch this game 7:30 on Fox. K-State, Avery Johnson has to be better. He's been turning the ball over a little bit recently. Has to be better. He's a young guy. I believe he's a freshman, so he's a young guy. It's going to happen. But he got to be better, especially in this game. You got to run DJ Giddens. I always say, man, DJ Giddens is an underrated back. He's one of the elite backs, in my opinion, in college football who don't get talked about. Get Jace Brown the ball, the young freshman. He's been playing pretty well. Pressure Rocco Beck. Let's put some pressure on that guy. And stop the run. Because Iowa State's going to want to run the football. You got to stop the run. Now, if you're Iowa State, you got to establish Abu Sama, the running back. You got to stop DJ Giddens, forcing Avery Johnson to beat you. Pressure Avery Johnson. Force some turnovers because Matt Campbell's defense got to force some turnovers. And you got to get Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel the ball. Those are your 2 playmakers on the outside. Those are really your only receivers that make plays. In my opinion, I think Iowa State takes it. Iowa State defense, I think, steps up. They contain DJ Giddens. I don't think they stop him. I think they force a turnover from Avery Johnson. And I think Rocco Beck took care of the football, and they're established to get the run, get something going on offense. And I think they win at home, knowing that if they win, they're more than likely in the Big 12 championship game. So I think Iowa State takes it. Now, with that being said, we're going to get into Big 12 watch. Why? Because we have a 4-way tie, like I said earlier, at the Big 12. We have BYU, Iowa State, Arizona State, and Colorado all tied for first place in the Big 12 at 6-2 in conference play. Now, I'm gonna go over the 4 teams that's tied, their games, and then I'm gonna go over the scenario because I picked the winner in those games. Not gonna explain why. I'm gonna just tell you who I got winning. So today, Oklahoma State plays at Colorado Friday, 12 o'clock on ABC. So in about 30 minutes, my winner in that one is Colorado. Then tomorrow you have Arizona State, 16th ranked Arizona State at Arizona, Saturday 3:30 on Fox. My winner in that one is Arizona State. And then tomorrow night you have Houston at 19th ranked BYU, Saturday 10:15 on ESPN. My winner is BYU, making all 4 teams that are tied atop the Big 12 winners. Now, with that scenario, the Big 12 championship will be Arizona State versus Iowa State. Colorado and BYU would be eliminated from Big 12 championship contention. I think all 4 teams win. BYU has a struggling Houston. Arizona's been struggling. Arizona's defense is just terrible. And Oklahoma State, yes, Oklahoma State has Colorado's kryptonite, elite running back and Ollie Gordon. But Allen Bowman has just been bad this year. And Colorado has an elite offense, so I think we'll take advantage of Oklahoma State's defense and put up points. And then the other game was Iowa State, which I just explained. So I have Iowa State taking on Arizona State in the Big 12 championship. And if that happens, I will preview it for next week. Now we got some bowl watch. And then that'll be the end of the show. So for today, teams to watch for bowl watch. As you know, or if you don't know, if you don't really watch college football, to make a bowl or to become bowl eligible, you need 6 wins. Obviously, this is the last week, so teams with 5 wins are on bowl watch. The first bowl watch game we have today is Oregon State 5-6 at Boise State 11-1. Boise State is 12th in the country. This game is 12 o'clock on Fox today. My winner, I'm gonna just pick a winner and briefly explain why. Boise State. Why? Ashton Jeanty. Oregon State has a tough time against the run. They had a tough time stopping the run against Nevada, which was Nevada's last win was against Oregon State. Obviously, when you have a league guy with Ashton Jeanty, it's going to be tough to stop him in the first place. But you throw in the fact that they are a team that's tough to stop the running. They can't really stop the run. Give me Boise State to win that one. And the other game we have that's on bowl watch today is Minnesota 6-5 at Wisconsin 5-6, 12 o'clock on CBS. My winner is Minnesota. Minnesota's been playing good ball this so far. And they were one fake punt away from possibly winning the game last week against Penn State, but they gave up the fake punt. Penn State was able to kill the rest of the clock. Minnesota offense has looked a lot better under Max Brosmer than it did with Ethan Kelly-Agmanis last year. Wisconsin, they've been playing good too, but I think the loss in Nebraska was kind of demoralizing. So I'm going to take Minnesota to win this game on the road with PJ Fleck going 7-5. Tomorrow, we have Rutgers at my Michigan State Spartans. Michigan State senior night. Rutgers is 6-5. Michigan State is 5-6. Catch this game 3:30 on Fox Sports 1. My winner, Michigan State. Why? One, we owe them for last year. We were up 19 and started the fourth quarter and lost the game. We just shot ourselves in the foot. This year, I think we turn over Ethan Kelly-Agmanis. We're going to sell out to stop Cal Monangai. That's just is what it is. We'll sell out to stop the run. And we have a better offense this year. Aiden Child's the only thing. He just can't turn the ball over, which he's prone to do. But other than that, we have a better offense. We have better weapons with Nick Marsh now. Foster was there last year. But like I said, Jack Villen, hopefully, I think he's good now. But Jack Villen is going to be there. He's a better option than I think he's a better option than Malik Carr. Some might disagree. But I think we beat Rutgers. Kansas 5-6 at Baylor 7-4. 12 o'clock on ESPN2. Winner, Kansas. Kansas is hot. Kansas has beaten the last 3 teams. All of them have been ranked. Kansas has been looking tough to stop on offense. Defensively has been playing a lot better. You got the league guy in Devin Neal. Now, it's going to be tough because Baylor got a guy who's been playing well and Bryson Washington. And then Michael Trigg played out of his mind last week against Houston. But Kansas is just hot. And now is the time to get hot. And they just need one win to become bowl eligible. Give me Kansas to get that win. Next, we have University of Louisiana Lafayette at University of Louisiana Monroe. Louisiana Lafayette is 9-2. Monroe is 5-6. Game is 12 o'clock on ESPN. Give me University of Louisiana Lafayette. Why? They already locked up their shot for the Sun Belt Championship with their win last week. I think they want to remain hot. They want to remain playing well. So they're going to play this game like it means something, and they beat UL Monroe. Next, we have North Texas 5-6 at Temple 3-8. 12 o'clock on ESPN Plus, excuse me. Winner, North Texas. Why? Offense. That offense is explosive. Temple's defense, it can be had. Temple's offense is not really that great. I think Chandler Rogers has an extraordinary game against. I said Chandler Rogers. That's the old quarterback. I always do that. But I think he has a great game against Temple. I think Shane Porter, he's able to run the ball just like Robert Henry did last week for UTSA. And DT Sheffield, I think he's going to feast on this Temple secondary. So give me North Texas to beat Temple. Eastern Michigan 5-6 at Western Michigan 5-6. So either way, you have a bowl eligible team in this game. 1:30 on ESPN Plus. My winner, Eastern Michigan. Terry Lockett and Marcus Allen showed me something last week. I think they take advantage of Western Michigan's defense. Now, Cole Snyder, he has to not turn the ball over. He's been a turnover machine. He has. But Western Michigan offensively just hasn't been able to get it done. Hayden Wolf hasn't really been able to get it done. They've been able to establish the run with Jaden Nixon and Jalen Buckley, but passing the ball has not been the strong suit for Western Michigan, excuse me. And I think Eastern Michigan defense, especially with James Doken, they do a decent job of stopping the run. I think Western Kentucky can establish the run, but not so Western Kentucky. Western Michigan can establish the run, but I think Eastern Michigan gives Western Michigan some passing situations, and they don't come out of it really good. I think Eastern Michigan holds on to win this game. Next, we have Coastal Carolina 5-6 at Georgia State 3-8, 2 o'clock on ESPN Plus. My winner, Coastal Carolina. Why? The ability to run the ball. They stopped Freddie Brock for Georgia State. They established the run with Braden Bennett and their quarterback, Ethan Vasco. I think Jamison Tucker, he hits on a couple of deep shots down the field. I think Coastal Carolina offense carries them to a victory over Georgia State. Auburn 5-6 at 13, Alabama 8-3, 3:30 ABC. Winner, Alabama, in a close one because it's the Iron Bowl and anything happens. But I think Alabama wins it, pulls it out at the end, just like last year. Not the same fashion. I don't know 4th and 29, 4th and goal. Touchdown. No, not in that fashion. But I think they win the game. I think they win a close one. So give me Alabama in that one. NC State 5-6 at North Carolina. I think they're 6-5. I forgot to write it down. 3:30 on ACC Network. Give me UNC. Why? For some reason, when coaches get fired, the interim coach steps in and they win. Mac Brown got fired. Don't think he's coaching today. The interim is, I think, stepping in. Some reason they win. And also, CJ Bailey has not been protecting the football. UNC State has been able to run the ball, so that might throw a little cog in my reasoning. But North Carolina, I'm taking them to win. Next, we have TCU 7-4 at Cincy 5-6, 6 o'clock on ESPN Plus. My winner, TCU. Why? Josh Hoover. Josh Hoover, if he's not turning the football over, he looks great with these weapons. They've been putting Savion Williams at the backfield at running back, but he's also a great receiver. You have Jack Beck. You have JP Richardson in open space. You got guys that I think Cincinnati have a tough time stopping. Brendan Sorsby has not looked as good as he did in the beginning of the season. I know they got Corey Conner in the backfield, and they should be able to establish some type of a run. But TCU offense is just too much for the Cincinnati defense, so I'm rolling with TCU. App State 5-5 at Georgia Southern 7-4, 6 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Now you might be wondering, Carl, how is App State 5-5? The hurricane that hit a couple months back canceled one of App State's games, so that's how they're 5-5. But my winner is Georgia Southern. Why? Offense. App State defense is absolutely terrible. It's not good at all, and I think JT French and this Georgia Southern offense takes full advantage of that, putting up points. App State does not keep pace, and Georgia Southern just not boat race them, but they just outscore them. And I know that sounds like, oh, duh, that's how you win football games, but you get what I'm saying. Virginia 5-6 at Virginia Tech 5-6 tomorrow 8 o'clock on ACC Network. My winner, Virginia Tech. Why? It's time. It is. Virginia Tech normally owns this rivalry, but Virginia Tech is not as good as I thought they would be or others. Kyron Jones is not as good as people tried to make him out to be. I'm sorry, not sorry. That's just my opinion. And I think Calandria will take care of the football. Now, they're going to have to block Andrew Powell-Ryland, APR, edge rusher. I believe he's still leading the country in sacks. But they also got a guy, Chico Bennett, on the other side of the field that can affect Virginia Tech as well. So give me Virginia. I also like how Virginia defense has been playing. Virginia defense is a pretty good defense. I think Virginia offense puts up points against this Virginia Tech defense. Give me Virginia to win. And my last game we have Bronco Mendenhall at New Mexico may actually take them to a bowl game in his first year. That's not what I thought I'd be saying at the end of this season. But Bronco Mendenhall, the great coach he is, he just does wonders, man. New Mexico 5-6 at Hawaii 4-7, 11 o'clock. It isn't on TV from what I saw. I wonder New Mexico. Why? Because Devin Dampier is too dang explosive at quarterback. He's going to be able to make plays, running the ball, read options, stuff like that. And Hawaii, I think, is going to have a tough time defending it. Also, Hawaii's offense, Brady Schrager and the boys, it's just lackluster. It is what it is. It's not Hawaii that you think of back in the days. It's just not. So I think New Mexico offense, and I say Chandler Rogers, Chandler Morris, quarterback of North Texas. Chandler Rogers is the old quarterback of North Texas like a year or two ago. So my apologies. But yeah, I think New Mexico wins that game and they become bowl eligible. And Bronco Mendenhall might get a statue. But that's all I have for a bowl watch, Big 12 watch, and previews. That's really all I have for y'all today. I will be back. I don't know when. Maybe Sunday, maybe Monday. To recap week 14. And next week is championship week, conference championship week. I can't wait because we're 1 week closer to the college football playoffs. It's going to be fun. First year with the 12-team playoff. That should be fun. Should be interesting. But let me know how y'all feel about week 14. Appreciate you, my boy. My boy Dave said great show. Let me know how y'all feel. Any disagreements, stuff like that. But I'm gone. I'm about to go eat breakfast and watch these games. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.